The CEO left when her blind date was a poor single dad, unaware the supercars outside were his. The moment Olivia Carter stood up from the table and walked toward the restaurant exit, she believed she had just escaped the most disappointing blind date of her life. What she didn't know was that the row of exotic supercars parked outside, the sleek black Bugatti, the silver McLaren, and the rare red Ferrari worth millions, belonged to the man she had just dismissed as a struggling single father. Before we begin, if you believe kindness matters more than appearances, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs inspiration, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories about second chances and unexpected lessons. It was a cold autumn evening in Chicago, Illinois. The city lights reflected against the Chicago River as professionals filled the downtown restaurants after work. Olivia Carter, the 36-year-old CEO of a rapidly growing technology company, had almost cancelled the blind date. Her assistant had convinced her that she worked too much and needed a personal life. Olivia had spent years building her company from the ground up. She was intelligent, disciplined, and respected by investors across the country. Yet success had come at a price. Her relationships never lasted. Her days were consumed by meetings, acquisitions, and endless travel. When her friend mentioned a kind and hardworking man named Nathan Brooks, Olivia reluctantly agreed to meet him. Nathan arrived 10 minutes early. He wore a simple navy jacket that showed signs of age. His shoes were clean but clearly worn. There was nothing flashy about him. No expensive watch. No designer clothing. No visible signs of wealth. When Olivia entered the restaurant, she immediately noticed him. And she immediately felt disappointed. Nathan stood politely and greeted her with a warm smile. His eyes carried a quiet kindness that most people overlooked. He seemed calm and genuine, but Olivia barely noticed. Instead, she focused on appearances. As the evening progressed, Nathan spoke about his life. He shared stories about raising his 8-year-old daughter, Grace, after losing his wife several years earlier. He described school pickups, soccer practices, bedtime stories, and the challenges of being both father and mother to a little girl who still missed her mom every day. To Nathan, those stories were the most meaningful parts of his life. To Olivia, they sounded ordinary. When she asked about his career, Nathan simply explained that he managed a small business and preferred keeping a low profile. He didn't mention numbers. He didn't brag. He didn't list achievements. He didn't talk about wealth. Olivia interpreted his humility as a lack of ambition. Within 40 minutes, she had already made her decision. She was convinced they had nothing in common. Excusing herself politely, she claimed she had an early meeting and needed to leave. Nathan smiled and wished her well. He didn't try to stop her. He didn't argue. He simply thanked her for coming. As Olivia walked outside, she barely glanced at the collection of exotic supercars parked along the curb. Several people nearby were taking photographs of them. Moments later, she climbed into her luxury sedan and drove away. Behind her, something happened that she never saw. Nathan stepped outside. A valet approached him. The valet handed him the keys to the black Bugatti. The crowd immediately recognized him. Several people asked for pictures. Others greeted him by name. Nathan smiled politely before driving away. The next morning, Olivia arrived at her office. Her company was preparing for the largest investment deal in its history. The potential partnership involved Brooks Automotive Technologies, one of America's fastest-growing automotive innovation companies. The founder and majority owner was considered a visionary entrepreneur who had quietly revolutionized high-performance vehicle engineering. Olivia had heard of him. Everyone in business circles had. But she had never met him. Or so she thought. At noon, her executive team entered the boardroom. Investors joined through video conference. The atmosphere was electric. This deal could double the company's valuation. Then the conference room doors opened. Olivia looked up. Her heart nearly stopped. Walking into the room was Nathan Brooks, the same man she had dismissed less than 24 hours earlier. The same man she believed was struggling financially. The same man she had abandoned midway through dinner. Suddenly, every executive in the room stood respectfully. Several investors greeted him enthusiastically. Nathan was not merely successful. He was one of the most influential business leaders in the industry. For a brief moment, Olivia couldn't speak. Embarrassment flooded through her. Nathan recognized her immediately. But unlike Olivia, he showed no sign of resentment. He simply nodded professionally and took his seat. The meeting continued. Nathan presented innovative plans, market forecasts, and engineering breakthroughs that impressed everyone in attendance. Olivia watched in stunned silence. His intelligence was extraordinary. His leadership was remarkable. Every assumption she had made about him had been completely wrong. Yet what affected her most wasn't his wealth. It was his character. Nathan never mentioned the failed date. Never embarrassed her. Never attempted revenge. He treated her with respect. That kindness made her feel even worse. Over the following weeks, the companies continued negotiations. Business meetings became frequent. Gradually, Olivia began seeing the real Nathan. She learned that he had started his first company from a small garage after losing almost everything following his wife's medical battle. She discovered that he donated millions annually to support single parents struggling to raise children alone. She learned that many of his employees considered him family. She heard countless stories about acts of generosity he never publicized. The more she learned, the more ashamed she became of her first impression. One afternoon, after a long meeting, Olivia noticed a framed photograph on Nathan's desk. It showed him and Grace at a school event. The little girl's smile illuminated the entire picture. For the first time, Olivia realized how deeply he loved his daughter. That evening, she sat alone in her penthouse apartment overlooking the Chicago skyline. For years, she had evaluated people the same way she evaluated business opportunities. Quickly, efficiently, based on measurable indicators. But people weren't spreadsheets. People carried invisible stories, invisible struggles, invisible strengths, and she had completely failed to see Nathan's. Weeks later, Nathan invited several executives to a charity fundraiser supporting families of widowed parents. Olivia attended. There she met Grace. The cheerful little girl immediately captured everyone's heart. Grace spoke proudly about her father. She described how he helped with homework every night, how he never missed soccer games, how he always packed her lunch himself, how he read stories before bedtime. Listening to her, Olivia felt something she hadn't experienced in years. Admiration. Not for success, not for wealth, but for genuine love. Nathan's greatest achievement wasn't his company. It was the daughter he was raising. As months passed, a friendship slowly formed between them. It wasn't forced. It wasn't rushed. It grew naturally through shared experiences and mutual respect. Nathan never brought up the blind date. Eventually, Olivia did. During a quiet evening after a charity event, she finally admitted the truth. She confessed that she had judged him unfairly. She admitted she had seen an old jacket, heard the words single father, and made assumptions about his value. The confession was difficult, but necessary. Nathan listened quietly. Then he smiled. Life had taught him something important years earlier. People often judged what they could see. Very few took time to understand what they couldn't. He explained that losing his wife had changed his perspective forever. After experiencing real loss, appearances stopped mattering. Character became everything. His response brought tears to Olivia's eyes. Because instead of condemning her mistake, he offered understanding. That moment changed her. Not just as a woman. Not just as a CEO. As a human being. Over the next year, their friendship deepened. Olivia became part of Grace's life. She attended soccer games, school performances, birthday celebrations. For the first time in years, she experienced something success had never provided. Belonging. The walls she had built around herself slowly disappeared. She discovered joy in simple moments. Family dinners. Weekend outings. Conversations that had nothing to do with profits or business strategies. And Nathan discovered something too. Behind Olivia's ambition was a woman who had spent years protecting herself from disappointment. A woman who desperately wanted connection but didn't know how to slow down long enough to find it. Eventually, their friendship became love. Not because of wealth. Not because of status. But because both had learned to see beyond first impressions. Years later, as they stood together at a lakeside charity gala raising millions for single-parent families, Olivia often thought back to that night. The night she walked away. The night she judged a man by his clothes instead of his character. The night she nearly lost the greatest blessing of her life. Before we finish, if this story touched your heart, please write character matters in the comments below. We'd love to see how many people still believe that a person's value comes from their heart rather than their appearance. Looking around the event, Olivia saw families laughing together. She saw children finding hope. She saw Grace, now a teenager, helping younger kids at the fundraiser. And she saw Nathan, the man she once misunderstood, smiling proudly beside them. In that moment, she understood a truth that would stay with her forever. The most valuable things in life rarely announce themselves. True character doesn't wear a price tag. Kindness doesn't arrive in luxury packaging. And sometimes the richest person in the room is the one who quietly loves others without needing recognition. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps more people discover stories that remind us to look beyond appearances and see the beauty hidden inside every human heart. Because one act of understanding can change an entire life. And one second chance can become a lifetime of happiness.